have way more pickleball shoes than I'd like to admit, and after testing a ton of them, some great, some honestly disappointing, I'm going to rank the best pickleball shoes that you can buy. I'll also share the one shoe I'd never buy again, the best shoe under $75, and which shoe I personally think is the best overall. Let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Ben, and I've been testing a lot of pickleball shoes in the last 1 to 2 years. And while I'm waiting on a bunch of pickleball paddles I purchased to come to do more reviews on those, I figured this was the perfect time to talk about the best shoes. Also, one of my favorite things from this past week was replying to everyone who entered my May 15th multi-paddle giveaway from my last video. So I'm gonna do another giveaway in this video from this new Warping Point Pro pickleball bag, and I'll share exactly how to enter later. Now, let's start this video with one shoe I would not buy again. There's really only 1 to 2 pairs of pickleball shoes that I regret owning, and that's the Adidas Barricade shoes. And what's crazy is that this was actually probably one of my most expensive pairs. Now, I came from playing with old Steph Curry basketball shoes, so yeah, I had high expectations for my first pair of pickleball / tennis shoes, but they just didn't deliver. I got massive blisters on both feet multiple times, and I believe that they feel a little narrow. I'm 6'3" and I have a kind of a narrow foot, so these just did not feel great. And even though the grip felt solid, I didn't feel fast in them. I actually felt slower compared to my basketball shoes. So yeah, even though it was my first pair of pickleball / tennis shoes, I didn't love them. Now let's get into the actual ratings, starting with 8, moving down to the best pickleball shoes, and I'll share how to get into the giveaway soon. Okay, so last but not least, I would say the Fila Volley Zones are the 8th best pickleball shoe. Now, I haven't worn Fila shoes since I was a kid, but these actually impressed me. They're comfortable, have great grip, and handle movement pretty well. The only downside I said is that they felt a bit baggy. But one of the upsides of this is the price. And I'll include all the links for these in the description below and any discount codes I have. But for the price, which is often $50, under $50 or around $50, it's not a bad pair of pickleball shoes if it's kind of the first ones you're looking at. In the 7th position, we have the Asics Gel Renmas, and these were one of my favorite shoes after my first pair of shoes. These shoes are really good. The comfort, I would say, is probably an 8 out of 10. No break-in required, no blisters. They have a good balance between grip and speed. Now, some shoes have too much grip and it slows you down, and I don't feel like these do. They're also lightweight, which helps a ton for your movement. The one question I have on these shoes is durability, but the biggest thing, one of my friends actually said recently that he had to keep getting these shoes because they wore out a little bit faster than other shoes. But you know, the biggest thing may be price, and you can get these shoes in the 60 to 75 range, and I'll include a link in the description below. That can be hard to beat, but if you're replacing shoes all the time, I can see why you might want to pass on these. Next are the Babolat Jet Mach 3s. Now the Babolat Jet Mach 3s, and if I'm saying that incorrectly, I apologize, also performed really well. These are some of the lightest shoes I own, around 13 ounces. They feel really fast, and the grip is really good. They have this like Michelin level grip, and the Michelin level grip is noticeable. You feel locked into lateral movements. Now, the only downside for me that I felt was that I felt a little slower getting to the kitchen line, possibly because of the grip that could slow you down a little bit, but I would still a great shoe. I think Ben Johns actually used to play with the shoe back in the day. I would still say it's a great shoe, just maybe not as balanced as some of the ones above. It's a lightweight shoe as well, which I appreciate. Now, when we get into the 5th and lower position, I really like that many of these shoes have narrow and wide foot options. And let's talk about this number 5, which is the Skechers Viper Court Smashes. Now, these ones are surprised me. I would call this probably the best pickleball shoe under $75. I didn't expect much when I bought them, but I was wrong. I would say that these are very comfortable. They have a great grip and surprisingly fast. Now, I would say at first they felt a little bit baggy on my narrow feet, but once I tightened them, they really felt great. And on the court, they gave me exactly what I needed, even for singles. That lateral movement, the speed, and the control. And one of the things I always appreciate was no blisters right out of the box. And for the price, which I'll include in the link in the description below, they felt like a no-brainer. Next, let's talk about the Nike Zoom pickleball shoes in the 4th position. And I was excited about these. Nike finally made a pickleball shoe specifically for pickleball, which is awesome. They look great. And these have actually moved up in my rankings, but because when I first put them on, they felt small. Now, I'm usually an 11.5, and because of the cushioning, they felt a bit tight. I actually thought I should have gone up to a 12, but after playing with these for almost a year, they felt much better, but that initial sizing kind of stood out. Performance-wise, I would say good comfort, solid great grip, and decent speed. The issue that I had originally was the price versus value. I believe these were around at $120, and I didn't feel like they outperformed some of the other shoes that were in the same price point. Next up is the 2026 release, the Selkirk Legacy Pros. And I'll be honest, I was really curious about these. Selkirk obviously makes great paddles. I love the boomstick, but I wasn't sure how these shoes would translate. And the first impression, they look really good. Like, I actually wore these casually off the court because I felt that they look really good. And they almost have this feeling that they remind me of like skater shoes when I was a teen. But what matters obviously is how well they play. So let's talk about that next. And what's crazy is how they played actually impressed me. The Infinite Grip outsole really works well. I guess they trademarked that. You get strong traction, controlled movements, and really smooth transitions. Whether I was moving wide, recovering after a drop, or stopping at the kitchen, everything felt stable. What I like most is that the grip doesn't feel overly sticky. It gives you that balance between bite and glide, which is exactly what I want. The only thing I note is that they felt a bit snug for my narrow feet, so I'd be curious how they feel for a wider foot, because I didn't see on their website that they had that wider foot option. Also, in terms of durability, I would say these feel very durable. You know, you get some shoes and you just feel like in 2 weeks they're gonna fall apart. I did not feel like new Selkirk model. And thankfully, most of these have both men and women's shoes, and you can check in the link in the description because I believe these are about $150 or slightly more. Now, coming in at number 2 is the new Holbrook Montis shoes. These, I would say, are some of the best pickleball shoes that you could get in 2026, and I don't say that lightly. Right out of the box, they fit true to size and they were extremely comfortable. I love Holbrook's design in their pickleball paddles, and I own a lot of them, and so I really like these. And they also come in wide and narrow options, which I really appreciate because not all brands do that. Now, on the court, these just perform really well. I tested them in singles, I tested them in doubles. I even tested these in the rain, and they held up in every situation. The biggest thing I noticed was how well I could accelerate and then stop. You get quick bursts of speed, but you can also plant and change directions fast, which is obviously huge in pickleball. These are high quality, durable, and just dialed in for the sport. And actually, they're one of the lower cost options after you use a discount code. So they're $119 before discount code, and you can use the code BPickleballer to get 15% off, and these get to you about $100. And I'll include a link in the description below. I would say these are a strong value for what you're getting, but let's talk about the shoes that are in the first position. And I would say the Asics Gel Resolutions are the best pickleball shoes. These shoes are incredible. I actually tried them because I kept seeing how people were talking about them online, and I get the hype now. They have amazing grip, great comfort, and excellent lateral movement. There's also no break-in period, which is huge, and the durability has been very strong. I didn't get any blisters. I didn't have any adjustment phase. They also come in wide version, which makes them accessible for many more players, and they work great for indoor, outdoor, singles, doubles, you name it. The only downside is the price, which is a bit higher than some of the others on the list, but from a pure performance standpoint, these are elite pickleball shoes. All right, thanks so much for sticking with me. Let's talk about the giveaway of this new Warping Point pickleball bag. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel, like this video if you haven't already, and comment below which shoes that you are currently using and if you like them or not. I'm always trying to try new pickleball shoes, so it'll give me a new set of pickleball shoes I can try that I can compete against the winners of this video. Like my video last week, I'll pick a winner on May 15th and I'll share who won in the comments. Please make sure it's from me specifically, because last week I actually found someone was putting some random comments that they were me and that someone had actually won, but the winner will be chosen on or around May 15th. And if you're already subscribed, please just comment what shoes you're wearing and that'll enter you as well. And just for these first few ones, I'm gonna do US only because I actually don't really know how I would ship to international, but I'll definitely look into this if people are loving these giveaways as I do more of them. Okay, so here's the summary. I would say the best overall are the Asics Gel Resolutions. The runner-ups would be the Holbrooks by Montis. I would say the best under $75 is those Skechers Vipers. The most disappointing was definitely the Adidas Barricade. Finally, if this helped, please drop a comment below, like this video. It's always encouraging to me as we create new content every week. All right, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great day.